Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. No Excuses presents the Ray Lewis Show. And I'm really excited this week because we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be faster. It's going to be quicker. We're going to drop some nuggets home, me and Coach, on championship mentality, because we've been feeding you guys a lot of information. We've been feeding ourselves a lot of information. We've given out so many principles and so many things. Me and Coach are just talking about how much we've written down. Remember when you was old school, you used to find your grandmother's and grandfather's books where they had wrote in their Bibles, and you're like, wow, who was thinking like that? Well, all of the information that we've been given, it can be an overload at times. So we want to shorten the next 3 to 4 weeks so you can really exercise on what you've learned and how did we get better. Checking in with my man. For me, life has been absolutely incredible, dealing with kids, dealing with life, what we're all dealing with. That's why I want to get Coach in here really fast, because I think it's important for us to jump right into championship mentality to understand. Coach, how you doing? How are, brother, every time I see that smile, I know there's another day that we get to just bless one life, just one life, bro. If nothing else, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing well, man, and it's good to be here and welcome all our team. And I know you talked about a lot of information we've given out, man. We started this back in March, man, and now here we are pretty much embarking upon October. This is unbelievable, but I want to tell someone that's out there, you may be still dealing with one principle. You know, I know we jumped from principle to principle, but don't find it strange if you just still dealing with one, whether that's was planning, whether that was time management, whether that's you versus you, whether that was, really you focusing on your mind and getting it right, which brings us to our topic today, man. We want to know.
How are you dealing with the state of the world right now? I think it's an honest question, right? Because you get a lot of shows, right? And everybody's just talking, right? And every day somebody's getting up and they reporting this and they reporting that, as if things are not going on in our world, right? And we don't get into it too often, right? When we get into it, we come to pray, we come to think about it, we come to give it to the Lord. But Coach, for our fans out there, how have you been dealing with the state of our world?
Well, first of all, it's tough and it's real, Ray, because you got politics, you got the politicization of a vaccine, you got natural disasters, you're dealing with Haiti, you're dealing with so many crimes and murders, you're dealing with racism, anxiety, you're dealing with stress, we're dealing with obesity. It's so much going on in the world, and I really want to know, I'll be happy to share a couple of things that work for me, but I want our team to share in the comments, how are you dealing with the stresses of this world? And what we mean by that is not being, blind to what's going on and not just turning your back on it, but how are you dealing with it? And I could tell you one of the things I'm dealing with, Ray, and that's dealing with a constant state of gratitude, my brother. Yeah. There's so many people are dying and so much death on timelines and in this world. I thank God for life. I thank him for breath, man, because I look around sometime and I try to look for things to be grateful for. You don't have to look if you can see with your eyes. But one of the things I do, man, to deal with the stresses of this world, Ray, is I deal with gratitude. I pray. I exercise. For me, exercising, wow, it cures a lot for me. It's my antidepressant. Of course, limiting that TV time. There's no way I could watch the news first thing in the morning and expect to have a great day. And so those are some of those things, man, that I use to try to keep my sanity in a sad world, man. And I try to remind myself that everything happens in seasons. Like nothing could last, whether I'm going through a good time right now or a bad time. They can't last. They always change. So having that perspective, man, always keep me level-headed.
Coach, it's so interesting because, you know, we have similar ways, man. And so for me, it's been the same thing, right? It's been reading, it's been praying, more than anything, just being consistent and reading my Bible every day, just asking the Lord, right? But one of the things, training is one of them, right? The bike ride for me, it gives me, it clears all of my endorphins, it fires them. It makes me come out, it gets my toxins out. It makes me not worry about the little child that I just hung up with, right? That's in the hospital. It makes me not worry about the young girl that was just human trafficked and taken away from her mother, right? So all of these things that's going on, these things just give me time to clear my head just long enough to come back and jump right back in the battle. But one of the things that, you know, I think I told you this last night, the Book of Eli, Denzel said something in that movie that was very profound. He said, stay on the path that's not your fight. And see, sometimes I think in this world, to our audience, sometimes social media has now letting us, we jump in any and every fight that we think we can speak about, we can text about, we can tweet about. But a lot of fights are not your fight. And if you don't stay in your lane, what happens is you will drown yourself in misery and frustrations and pain and anger and all of these different things, right? When you talk about just the injustices of all these different areas of life, we have to slow down. That's why I think each person must remember this, right? You got to remember you are a work in process. You said it, which means you will grow, but it's one step at a time. Sometimes you have to, when you eat food, right? You say you're supposed to eat slow, right? Chew your food. Well, it's the same thing with information, right? You can't throw all of this information in your mouth and think you're going to be able to swallow it all. It's a process. And every step of the process, we have to understand the only way you deal with it is most of the things that you deal with that you really want to see change, you got to be passionate about. The worlds that I'm in, right? Going in these communities, changing these communities, human trafficking, knowing that these kids are being taken, the violence of children that's going, it's incredible. The things that you have to ask yourself, what separates me and them? And let me tell you what separates us. See, the only thing that separates us is we don't feel it right now. Because somebody feels pain every second, every moment that we're speaking about right now in the state of this world, somebody is feeling some type of pain. And that's why I tell you the antidote, the true antidote, the only way out is prayer. The only way through it is prayer. The only way to see clearly is prayer. The only way to understand your brothers and sisters who's not of the same race is prayer. And I think, bro, that's where we have to be open to understanding. You have to be passionate about what you're doing and what arguments you want to get involved in.
I think that's a good point, man. And it's a very important principle because you shouldn't stay on the sideline. If it's something that you believe in, fight for it. Like you dealing with the sex trafficking, I deal with obesity and a lot of other things in this world. But you got to know which fight to fight. And a long time ago, you're going to remember this. Something happened in the world. And you was like, man, I'm getting ready. Man, I think I need to go down there and do that. Then something else happened. You like, man, I say, bro, every fight ain't your fight. Right. I was like, man, fight your fight. And that freed you in your mind because naturally you want to get involved in every single thing. But in the stresses of this world, you got to be careful about the vision now. We're talking about championship mentality. And we talked about having a vision. Now, remember, just like the Book of Eli, when they was doing that stuff to that lady, and he had the ability to slaughter all of them, but he didn't. He said, "Stick to the plan. That's not my concern." And so the things of this world, get involved in what you believe in, but remember, some things you got to take like cologne. You smell it, but you don't consume it.
Yep.
You can't let that stuff get inside of you. Be aware of what's going on in the world, because then it could affect your vision. And remember what we talked about. One of the greatest enemies of your vision is preoccupation.
Absolutely.
Preoccupation, meaning you doing things, distractions, and spending your time on other things to distract you from fulfilling your assignment and your purpose. So we was just wondering today, man, on this quick take, like, really, how are you all dealing with the stresses of this world? I know we have our routine, man. You said you read books. We like to read. It's amazing, because when we grew up as young boys, man, we hated reading. I mean, we hated it. But now but now we do it as a form of mental exercise.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. That's why you always seek to always find solutions, right? Rather than concentrating on problems, right? That's one of the key things, right? Like, you hear a lot of people concentrating on the problems, but nobody has the solutions. Like, everybody's talking, but nobody's giving solution-based conversations where you can have conversations with somebody, right? Educational conversations, right? That actually help people to understand what the problem is so you can find the solution. See, I'm telling you, that's where I think my greatest peace has started to become. Because a lot of people, and one of the things I learned, and you know this, one of the things that I learned, that with everything not being for me to jump in the battle to fight it, sometimes you got to keep your mouth closed. Sometimes you jump in battles that will get you so much backlash. And trust me, I've been through enough of mine. But long as my facts comes back to what I'm passionate about, let me tell you something. And I want to end this one because I want to leave them with some 2 words will help you when you run low on hope. Accept and trust. See, sometimes we got to trust the process of what when the Lord says, my word will never come back in vain. His word, see, man believes in the possible, God believes in the impossible. And I'm telling you, sometimes we put things on our shoulders that the Lord said. He says to me all the time, that ain't your fight. That ain't your fight. And I'm telling you, I learned so much in my life, bro, about jumping in battles. And sometimes I was jumping in battles that I had no education about. None. Somebody asked me, someone said, and I'm like, yeah, well, this and that. And I'm like, really? And I went back after and I was like, that was the silliest thing you ever said in your life, when you're uneducated. So I think that's what this whole thing is about, right? There's so much going on in the world, but we have to find a balance on how to deal with the state of the world that we're in right now. Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your health of your mind. Take care of the health of your body. Take care of the health of your spirit. Protect your peace. Protect your spirit. Man, you're no good, man, if you torn up on the inside. Look, none of us in this world are stress-free. Believe me. Everybody got their own problems. But it becomes too much when you got to deal with the problems of what's going on with in this world and deal with your own personal problems. That's a lot. That's going to cause some type of mental illness. So take today's show, man. Let's read each other comments and let's all grow from things that help us manage these times that we're in. Tell us some of the things that help you get through when you hear about these crazy things that are going on in this world. Again, for me, it's a lot of shutting off that TV. I don't listen to any radio at this moment. I just can't afford it. I can't afford to allow that to get in my spirit. I got too many people dependent on me to be in my right mind and my right spirit and to have the right attitude. I can't get involved in everything because then I'm going back to things that I prayed for God to deliver me out of.
and he remove you from it, but the world pulls you back in it if you stay in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you stay in
it. Choose your battle. Protect your peace.
Battle. Choose your battles. Coach, always love, brother. Good seeing you, man. And we're looking forward to all those comments because they're needed. They are absolutely needed. Coach, bless you, man. I'll hit you in a little while, brother.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Rounding up, right? I'm going to leave you with 3 things to really think about, right? Whenever you want to get involved in anything, motivation comes from working on things that we care about. We realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced. And the last thing is, there's but one cause of human failure, and that is man's lack of faith in his true self. Take this moment to restore and renew, and we're all going to pray our way through these tough times. God bless you. Thank you for joining us this week.